ونستغفر ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us yet another opportunity to continue our dars in Uthool Thalatha of Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on him. This is going to be our 14th lesson. Today being the 13th day in the month of Rajab 1441 after the historic hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca to Medina, which is equivalent to the 8th day in the month of March 2020, the Christian era. Last week we were discussing Surah Al-Asr under As-Sabru ala al-Adha fihi, patience on the harms that will be inflicted upon you on the path of da'wah. And Sheikh brought Surah Al-Asr, that Surah Al-Asr as encompassed all the four things that Sheikh made mention of in the first Risala. Now we continue from page 18, page 19 in the new kitab, the old one, page 18. We said, فَمَنْ اتصف بهذه الصفات الأربعة نجا من هذه الخسارة. Whoever has these four attributes, يعني العلم والعمل به والدعوة إليه والصبر على الأذى فيه. Okay, page 20 in the notebook. Okay. Naja, that person will be successful. Am I communicating? That person will attain salvation. ولا يمكن الإيمان بالله إلا بالعلم الذي هو معرفة الله. Listen to this. You know, don't be this first risala that we have been treating is an introduction to the knowledge that we have inside the kitab. We have not even started treating the kitab itself, isn't it? This is an introduction to the knowledge. It's laying foundation that everything that you're going to learn in this kitab, you have to apply these four things to that knowledge, isn't it? And you know what Tawheed is, the categories of Tawheed, what it entails, the nitty-gritty of it, we're going to learn as we go deep into the kitab. Am I communicating? How it affects your life. This is laying foundation. This is conditioning us to becoming better Muslims first, to even understand the kitab itself. Am I communicating? So it's you know, shimfida. Am I communicating? All right. So wala yumkin al-iman. It is not possible for someone to believe in Allah, al-imanu billahi illa bil-ilm, except with knowledge. Alladhi huwa ma'rifatullah. What is this knowledge? This knowledge is what? That is knowing who Allah is. If you don't know Allah, how can you be able to give the rights of Allah that are upon you? How can you be able to discharge those rights and responsibilities? Am I communicating? وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. You know, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, that is, they have acted on the knowledge now, righteous deeds. أي عمل الأعمال الصالحة من واجبات ومستحبات. That is, they have acted on righteous deeds. They have done righteous deeds min wajibat, from the obligatory ones, like khamsu salawat, like fasting in the month of Ramadan, like giving zakah if you have the means to do so. They have discharged, you know, they discharge these obligatory duties upon them, wa mustahabbat, and even those days that are recommended. Mustahab, you know, they are not obligatory, but they are, you know, they are recommended deeds that you should do also. فَاسْتَغَلُّوا وَقْتَهُمْ بِعَمَلِ الصَّالِحَاتِ بِمَا يُفِيدَهُمْ. They what? They now take advantage of their time. بِعَمَلِ الصَّالِحَاتِ, with righteous deeds. بِمَا يُفِيدَهُمْ فِي دِينِهِمْ وَدِنْيَاهُمْ. And that which is going to benefit them in their religion and in their worldly life. So the time that Allah has given to them, remember we're talking about acting upon the knowledge. Now they have acquired the knowledge, then they now use that knowledge. The time that Allah has given to them, they use that time. They take advantage of the time at their disposal to act on the knowledge that they have been given. Righteous deeds. Alaysa kadhalik. Righteous deeds that will be beneficial to them fi dinihim, in their religion and also in their worldly life. Hatta al-amal lad-dunya fihi khair. Wallahi, even when you are working for this dunya, there is good in it. Fihi khair. Fihi khair. How can you have good when you're working, you're going to the office, you're going to the site, you are going to the hospital, you are going to the marketplace for your business transactions? How can that be beneficial to you? There is good in it, wafi ajrun, and there is a reward in your worldly affairs also. How? إذا قصد به الاستعانة على الطاعة. If you intended by that deed that you do for this dunya a support for obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The only reason why you are working is to have money so that you can support yourself with that money to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Am I communicating? You are going out to look for food so that you can eat and you have sufficient energy to stand up to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at that is when your deeds of this dunya can earn you reward. When you are doing them solely to support you in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is this part understood? فَكَيْفَ بِالْعَمَلِ لِلْآخِرَةِ. If this is the case of you doing your worldly things, and now you have intended by that worldly things, al-isti'ana, that it should be, you are seeking for assistance through that so that you can be able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what about working directly for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the hereafter? If you have reward for earning money and your intention for earning money is such that you can be financially independent to worship Allah, not to seek for divorce, so that you can be financially independent to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Am I communicating? Then you will be rewarded. You see, money is coming in, you are having reward. You are getting food, the food is on the table, you are eating food, you are getting reward for that. Why? إِذَا قَصَدَ بِهِ الْإِسْتِعَانَةُ عَلَى الطَّاعَةِ. If you intend by that, a support towards obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I've explained what that means. فَكَيْفَ بِالْعَمَلِ لِلْآخِرَةِ. How then can you even quantify a deed that is done solely for the hereafter? Al-muhim, what is important here is what? أَنَّكَ لَا تُدَيِّعَ الْوَقْتِ. Do not waste your time. Don't waste your time. أَنَّكَ لَا تُدَيِّعَ الْوَقْتِ. That is the most important message we are trying to pass here. Al-muhim, أَنَّكَ لَا تُدَيِّعَ الْوَقْتِ. Do not waste your time. بَلْ تَسْتَعْمِلَهُ فِي شَيْءٍ يُفِيدُكَ وَيَنْفَعُكَ. تَسْتَعْمِلَهُ بَلْ. Rather, use your time في شيء, in something, يفيدك وينفعك, something that will be beneficial to you, something that will benefit you. Whatever you are doing, make sure it's going to be beneficial to you, because Allah is going to ask you regarding the time that is given to you. Namshi. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. And they encourage each other, they recommend each other to what? To the truth. We explained what this truth is in this class. Who can remind us? What was the tafsir of al-haq according to Al-Hasan al-Basri? Please. Quran. What about our iman? Says who? No, yeah, you got the surname. Muqatil. Now, Muqatil bin Hayyan. Alhamdulillah. So you have not forgotten. So al-haq, that is the truth, Quran and al-iman. So وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. These characteristics of these people, again, for whom we want to be part of. We all want to be part of these people, isn't it? Because they are the people that will be happy in this world and the hereafter. They are the people that will attain success in this world and the hereafter, and they are the fortunate ones. They are the fortunate ones. What do they do again? Amaru bil ma'ruf. Are you there? Amaru bil ma'ruf. They enjoy the good. Wherever you see them, they tell people, please worship Allah. Do this, do that. This is what Sharia expects from you. They are always constantly doing that. So you all should be like that. Imagine when you constantly remind other people about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you tend to remind yourself. You know the beautiful analogy I will draw up here? When your cloth is dirty and you soak it inside a bucket full of water with a detergent with the intention of cleaning the dirt off the cloth, isn't it? But you are using your hand. You are ajebako, not ajebota, using, what do you even call it? Washing machine. You see, we don't even know washing machine. So when you use your hand to wash dirt off your cloth, the intention is to wash the dirt off the cloth. Am I communicating? But after washing your clothes, what do you get at the end of the day? Your hands come clean. That is da'wah. Whenever you call people to righteousness and you do it sincerely, you end up inviting yourself to that righteousness. So it is our responsibility as Muslims to, that is why I said, Amaru bil ma'ruf. They enjoy the good. Wa nahaw anil munkar. They do not only enjoy the good, but they forbid the evil. Because Islam is all about do and don't do. The entirety of the command of the religion, isn't it? Do this, don't do that. You have the gray areas in between. Alaysa kadhalik. Then you have the makruh, you have the mubah, you have the whatever. Then you have the haram. But it is do and don't do. So al-amru bil ma'ruf, that is do. An-nahi anil munkar, don't do. That is the essence of the religion itself. Am I communicating? Now, they do not stop at that. وَدَعُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ وَدَعُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. And they call unto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are constantly calling people to worship Allah alone. May Allah make us amongst these people. وَعَلَّمُوا الْعِلْمَ النَّافِعَ وَعَلَّمُوا الْعِلْمَ النَّافِعَ. And they teach beneficial knowledge. They teach people beneficial knowledge. Alaysa kadhalik. You will never see them teaching people how to become boka or how to cheat people or how to become an expert in 419. They are only teaching people beneficial knowledge. And the highest form of beneficial knowledge and the best form of beneficial knowledge is the knowledge of Sharia. Alaysa kadhalik. It is the knowledge of Sharia. When you call people to worship Allah alone, that is the best knowledge. And that is why we've repeatedly referenced it in this class. Surah Al-Fussilat. Who remembers? The heading of the verse. Surah Al-Fussilat 41. The verse that talks about calling unto Allah. I know you can do it. Na'am? No, Surah Al-Ankabut. That is Ankabut. Surah Al-Fussilat 41. Calling people onto the path of Allah. La, that is Surah Al-Nahl, that is Quran 16. Subhanallah. And I want one of these weekends, someone to sit here to teach instead of me. Subhanallah. Okay. Let me give you heads on. Waman ahsanu. Naam. MashaAllah, Mumtaz. Waman ahsanu qawlan mimman da'a ilallah. Who is truer in speech? Who is an excellent, eloquent speaker? Other than this person that calls people onto the path of Allah. Alaysa kadhalik. So, وَدَعَوْا إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. And he calls onto Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَعَلَّمُوا الْعِلْمَ النَّافِعَ وَنَشَرُوا الْعِلْمَ. He has what? Sought for beneficial knowledge. Alaysa kadhalik. He has sought for beneficial knowledge. وَنَشَرُوا الْعِلْمَ. And he has spread that knowledge. He spread the knowledge that he has acquired. Which means all of you in this class, whatever knowledge you are acquiring, you act upon it, but you have to spread that knowledge before you can have the full package. Isn't it? Nobody wants half-baked whatever. Isn't it? Everyone is after full package, isn't it? Full package. So if you want to have that full package, you are seeking for the knowledge already. وَنَشَرُ الْعِلْمِ. They spread the knowledge. So you should go out there, please, and spread this knowledge so that there will be ripple effects. Positively also, the people that are close to you, they will benefit from this knowledge that you have acquired. Alaysa kadhalik. And if they benefit from the knowledge and you make them understand that knowledge is sought for action, and they started acting upon that knowledge, imagine you will be surrounded by righteous people. And you know the benefit of being surrounded by righteous people? You will be ashamed to do ungodly things. That is why people are encouraged to be in the midst of righteous people. Wallahi, if your friends are uncultured and not God-fearing people, no matter how strong your iman is, you will find your iman leaving you gradually. Because the Prophet ﷺ cannot lie. He said you are upon the religion of your friend. And not even an ordinary friend, your intimate friend. So you share your stories with this friend, is the first person you call. If he's not a righteous person, he will drag you into his. If you don't influence, then don't allow yourself to be influenced negatively, but influence people positively. Am I communicating? وَنَشَرُ الْعِلْمِ وَالْخَيْرِ فِي النَّاسِ. Not only knowledge, but goodness. They spread goodness فِي النَّاسِ amongst people. Wallah, you never see them spreading evil. Wherever you see them, you see good, because they only bring good to people. So be amongst those people. Asbahu, then they will just, that's why gari me ake cewa da turanci. Ba fa wayan gari literally ba fa. Asbahu du'atun ila Allah azza wa jal. Then they will just become callers to the path of Allah. That is, they will automatically become callers onto the path of Allah azza wa jal. Watawasaw bis sabr, and they recommend each other to patience. Sabaru ala ma yanaluhum. Patience upon that which is going to afflict them. You are going to meet a lot of challenges in life. Alaysa kadhalik. It is not possible for us to live without challenges, like we said last week. So, sabaru ala ma yanaluhum. I wrote something this morning, and someone, a sister of mine, said, it is very difficult. Patience is the most difficult thing. I say, yes. Because the entire religion can be summarized under patience. Patience can substitute what the religion of Islam is, if you understand it technically, and that is what we're going to treat now, inshallah. In your kitab, it is there. Sabaru ala ma yanaluhum wa sabru fil lugha. What is the definition of patience in the Arabic language? What is patience in Arabic language? Al-habsu, restraint, to hold back, to control. Am I communicating? Al-habsu, that is hindrance, to control, to hold back. That is why you said what? In Arabic language, they said something like this, yahbisul anfas, yes, hold the breath. Ya rike numfashi, yahbisul anfas, ya rike numfashi, yes, hold his breath. Yahbisul anfas. You are holding it. That is patience. That is the root word masdar, isn't it? Al-habsu, restraint, hindrance, control. Am I communicating? Wal muradu bihi huna, and what is intended with ashabru here is what? Habsun nafs ala ta'atillah. That is you confining your soul towards the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have restricted your soul to obey Allah. Anything besides that, you have held control of it. No, don't go sinning. Let me hold you for Allah's obedience. If you are attracted to sin, I hold you back. That is patience also. Now, وَهُوَ ثَلَاثَةُ أَنْوَاءٍ. وَهُوَ ثَلَاثَةُ أَنْوَاءٍ. Patience is of 3 categories. And that is why the entire religion can be summarized under patience, under these 3 categories. Pay attention. Al-awwal, the first one. Sabrun ala ta'atillah. Patience in Allah's obedience. Sabrun ala ta'atillah. Patience in Allah's obedience. Am I communicating? The second one, sabrun an maharimillah. Patience in restraining yourself from disobeying Allah, from Allah's disobedience. The first one is what you have to be patient in order to be able to worship Allah. The second one, you have to be patient in order not to disobey Allah. You have to be patient and control yourself. Al-thalith, the third one, sabrun ala aqdarillah. Patience over the preordainment of Allah. What Allah has predestined to happen to you. You have to be patient over it. Isn't this the entire essence of the religion itself? Yes, it is. The people that are punished by Allah is because Allah said do, and they are not patient enough to train themselves from doing in doing that which Allah has asked them to do. Again, those who are punished are those who have failed to restrain themselves from falling into Allah's disobedience. The one that commits zina, is because of lack of patience. If he was patient enough, Allah will provide for him and he will get married and he will not be guilty of zina. The one that is married and is committing zina, if he is patient enough, he will come back to his wife at home and he wouldn't have to commit zina outside, and Allah will reward him for that. The one that steals from others is not patient enough, but Allah has written that he's going to get 1 million naira, but he stole it from other people. If he was patient enough not to steal, that is you being patient against Allah and maharimillah. If you were patient, that wealth will come to you. If you are patient, you will have your wife with you, or you will have your husband with you. But lack of patience is pushing people to Allah's disobedience. So you can see where patience comes in now. Patience to worship Allah. Patient in restraining yourself, al-habsu, restraining yourself from falling into Allah's disobedience. Then the third one, as-sabru, yani sabrun ala aqdarillah. That is it. This is what I want. I'm not getting it. I have to be patient. Allah has willed it otherwise. This is what is coming to me, but this was not what I bargained for. But Allah has willed it to come in. Patience. Ala aqdarillah. Let us unpack it now. Fal-awwal, the first one. Sabrun ala ta'atillah. Patience in Allah's obedience. لأن النفس, because the soul, the human soul, turidul kasal. The human soul loves laziness. You don't want to wake up not in the time of Fajr, especially when it's cold. You're enjoying the sleep. Sometimes between Maghrib and Isha, you're at home. You feel so lazy to get up because you just finished eating your dinner. You are heavy. It's difficult to get up. You are gisting with your friends, so interested in the gist. Then the adhan makes the call to prayer. That is, you have to be patient to be able to stop whatever you are doing to answer the call of Allah. Wherever you see worshiping Allah is as a result of patience. You have to be patient, otherwise you'll not be able to worship Allah. Shi yasa Allah ya ce in Surah Al-Maryam, in Surah Maryam, Quran chapter 19, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Rabbus samawati, look for the verse number before we finish. Rabbus samawati wal ardi wa ma baynahuma fa'buduhu wastabir li'ibadati. Allah said he is the Lord of the heavens and the earth and whatever is in between them. Fa'buduhu, worship him. Wastabir li'ibadati, and be patient in worshiping him. You have to be patient in order to be able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What verse number? Verse 65. Quran 19:65. Am I communicating? لأن النفس تريد الكسل, because the human soul loves laziness. وتريد الراحة, comfort. الراحة. الراحة, comfort. Everyone loves comfort, isn't it? But look at it. Is coming to this class not part of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we have been commanded to seek for knowledge of the deen. But look at it again, for the second week now, no light, isn't it? We are sweating. Do you think if you are not patient enough to stand in this obedience to Allah's command, you would stand up and get out of this class? But like I said last week, and we're here again, last week, between that time and today, how many air conditioners has blown over your face? Either in your car or in your house or in your office. At least you have, and you've forgotten that you sweated last week. But you have to be patient, because what lies ahead is bigger than what you are facing. Am I communicating? So that is it. You have to be patient. Wallahi, if you are not patient, you cannot be able to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, because the human soul, turidul kasal, laziness. Wa turidul raha, comfort. Everyone loves comfort. فَلَا بُدَّ أَن يُصَبِّرَهَا فَلَا بُدَّ أَن يُصَبِّرَهَا أَن يُصَبِّرَ الْإِنسَانِ عَلَى الطَّاعَةِ. It is incumbent upon each person to train his soul to be patient over Allah's obedience, in obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يُسَبِّرَهَا, train the soul to be patient. وَيَحْبِسَهَا, and restrain the soul عَلَى طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ, on obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is your duty. I jumped somewhere, it seems nobody sensed it. وَعَلَى الصَّلَاةِ, you have to train your soul to be patient over prayer, to even stand up to pray. You have to exercise patience to be able to stand up when it's time for prayer, to stand up and perform ablution and pray. وَعَلَى الصِّيَامِ, tell me, what better definition can you give to patience other than when someone is observing fast? Don't eat, but the delicious food is in front of you. Don't drink, but the cold water is in front of you in hot Hamatan afternoon. Don't look at haram, but haram is flaunting itself around you. Don't touch haram, but you find yourself in a compromising environment that you are forced unless you restrain yourself, because all these things affect your fast. But you see someone, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. That is why, because of what? Muraqabah, you are watchful of Allah if you are fasting, because you don't want anything to affect you, so you attend piety because of that. Because of that muraqabah, watchfulness. Am I communicating? وَعَلَى الْجِهَادِ, you think if you are not patient, you'll be able to stand under the scorching sun to fight against the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at what happened during the battle of Badr. Look at what happened during the battle of Uhud. Look at what happened during the Khandaq expedition. Patience upon patience and perseverance. في سبيل الله, الجهاد في سبيل الله, وإن كانت تكره هذه الأمور. Even if the soul dislikes all of these matters that we have mentioned now. The soul dislikes to pray early in the morning, Salat al-Fajr, and your duvet, and you are enjoying the sleep. You are watching that interesting movie, and it's time for Salah. I'm not encouraging anyone to go and be watching movies. I'm just giving you an example, because I know you are in the 21st century. Whether you are going to deny it now, 90% of these people seated here watch movies. You are among the 10% that don't watch. Now, do you understand? You have to train your soul to be patient over all these things. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm giving you a reference. It's not in your sharhi. Quran chapter 2, verse 216. Put it down. Quran chapter 2, verse 216. It's going to help you in understanding this. Allah said, Kutiba alaykum al-qitalu wa huwa kurhul lakum wa asa an takrahu shay'an wa huwa khairul lakum. Allah has ordained fighting for you. Wa huwa kurhul lakum. But verse 216, but you dislike it. Wa asa an takrahu shay'an. It might be that you dislike something. Wa huwa khairul lakum, and that thing is good for you. You hate that thing, but that thing is good for you. This verse was revealed with respect to jihad fi sabilillah. Alaysa kadhalik, and every other thing can fall into it. Al-ibaratu bi umumil lafz, la bi khususis sabab. So it can fit into so many things. Allah asks you to do, but you dislike it. Allah said you should be obedient to your parents. You should be patient over this thing. But sometimes you find yourself in a situation that you dislike what you see, but it might be good for you. You have made decisions, your parents overruled your decision. You hate it, you dislike it, but wallahi, that thing that you dislike might be good for you. But something, no, this is what I want, but it might not be good for you. So what is the way out? Al-hal, what is the solution? Sabr, and what? Leaving everything in the hands of Allah to decide for you, because Allah is the best decision maker. Wathani, the second one, sabrun an maharim Allah, patient against disobedience to the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And nafsu, now look at the opposite, the soul, turidul muharramat. Inna nafsal la ammaratum bisu'in إلا بالسوء إلا. The nature of the human soul is constant provocation to sin. Wallahi, Allah has described our soul to be like that. Then we put ourselves in compromising situations. When Allah said the nature of the human soul is constant provocation to sin, wallahi ba addan Qur'ani ne akan ka ba. The moment you put yourself, you see, from this dunya, Allah is answering your prayer. Light is back now. Do you understand? Maybe so please switch on the light for us. Am I communicating? Now, the best thing you can do for yourself, never trust yourself that you are God-fearing. Avoid putting yourself in a compromising situation. That is the rule. There is nothing like I have it under control. There is nothing like I've read Quran in the morning before I left my house. There is nothing like my mouth is always saying Astaghfirullah. Don't just put yourself in that compromising situation. Khalas. You can't walk on the water and say, Sheikh, pray for me that my legs shouldn't get wet. You can't throw yourself out there in compromising circumstances and you keep praying to Allah, Ya Allah, give me the... No. Don't put yourself in compromise. If you find yourself, peradventure, out of necessity, you find yourself in that compromising situation, then be extra careful not to allow this situation overwhelm you, lest you forget why you are on the face of earth. Am I communicating? Why am I explaining this? Because your soul, my soul, is constantly provoking us to commit sin. Ba ka ce kai ustazu bane bai san da wannan ba. Kai ustazi ya kina karatun Qur'ani ke addace Qur'ani, it doesn't know that. The human soul, constant provocation to sin. So what is the way out? Don't put yourself in a compromising situation. Wallahi, your regrets will be irreversible. I can speak of myself, you can speak of yourself. We've had things that you wish you will delete from your life. Why? Because you trusted your soul, then it betrayed you. Allah didn't say you should put your trust on your soul or on the Quran that you have read. Put your trust on Allah and now do what Allah asks you to do. Because the human soul, turidul muharramat wa shahawat, and desires. Desires. Wallahi al-azim. Desires. So what is the best solution? Move away from your object of temptation. When people ask me this fatwa, ya Sheikh, how do we stop committing this particular sin? I said, move away from object of temptation. As long as you are exposing yourself to the object of temptation, wallahi, you're only endangering your life. And you think you are putting effort to avoid sinning. Why do you have to put yourself in that place in the first place? Do you understand? It's like someone throwing himself up in a club at night. Then he's now saying astaghfirullah and trying to lower his gaze. Malam, ba wonder that is not ba mahallan shi bane. Kai a lokacin you expect Allah to reward you. You drove your car parked in front of a brothel where prostitutes are coming in and out. You parked your car and now you are forcing yourself to lower your gaze. Oga, who sent you there? I don't know if you understand the message I'm trying to make here. We put ourselves in compromising situations, then now we put extra effort to be God-fearing. But there are instances where you find yourself in such circumstances without, you seeking for those circumstances. They find their ways to you. Wallah, you just find yourself, we live in a mixed environment in Nigeria with non-Muslims. To them, to touch a non-mahram is not a big deal. So you just find yourself, before you know what's happening, a lady is already, please sir, I want to ask you a question. She's already, or a lady, she's there before she knows what is happening. When Wawa Dolo is already touching her back. Please, can I ask you a question? Now it is upon you to say, please don't do that again. It is upon you to say, please don't do that again. Not to be ashamed or to feel shy to even, speak against such deeds. Am I communicating? Do you understand the balance now? Yes. There is a difference between you. That is why the Prophet ﷺ said, the accidental gaze is allowed. You are not culpable. You know culpability, that is guilty. You are not culpable, you are not guilty if it's an accidental gaze. But you now looking at that lady, or she now looking at that man with a lustful gaze, you are culpable. Allah will put you to task, and that can earn someone a big punishment in the sight of Allah, unless Allah forgives us. Am I communicating? So it is one thing now that you have an accidental gaze. It is another thing that you deliberately had that lustful gaze. So it is one thing that you find yourself under necessity in an environment that you wouldn't have wished to find yourself in. It's another thing for you to deliberately take yourself to that environment. Then you are now striving to be righteous. And now you are lowering your gaze, you are doing so. But you took yourself there. Nobody forced you to go there. I hope this is understood. Why? Because, why am I explaining this? My soul, your soul is constantly provoking us to sin. So please don't ever trust your soul. And now you come back and you're crying, Ya Allah, I've committed this sin, Ya Allah. But you allowed yourself to be in that situation. But Allah will still forgive you if you repent sincerely. If you repent sincerely, even though you were deliberate in committing the sin, if you are sincere in your repentance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. Now, tamilu ilayha wa tanzi'u ilayha. Tamilu ilayha. Yana karkatuwa zuwa ga sabon Allah. The human soul is always inclining towards sin. Duk sanda ka gan mutum, in akwai halal ana akwai haram. Yeah, wala taqrabu zina. Do not come near it. Don't commit zina, but do not come near zina. That is in Surah 16, Surah Al-Isra. And not 16, 17, afwan. La taqrabu. Because there is every chance that if you come close to it, you will commit it. And at that moment, your iman will not, wallahi, if you are the one that take yourself there, there is every possibility that you fall into it. You forget that you have memorized the Quran. You forget that you know the ahadith that are forbidding a man touching a woman. You forget all of these things, hugging, kissing. The moment you go close to it, you are in a car with a woman, or you find yourself in seclusion with a woman, wallahi, there is every chance that you commit a sin. There is every 90% of the chance is that you commit a sin. Wallahi al-azim. So Allah said don't go close to it, because the soul at that moment, it controls you. You no longer have control over yourself. The control now is like when you ride on a horse. If you don't know how to hold on to the reins, and the soul, the horse actually feels it. If you are a first timer, you ride on the horse. The way you hold on to the rein, the horse knows whether you are an expert or not. If you are not an expert, the horse rides you. Now you lose control. If it feels that you have confidence, even if you have never ridden a horse before, but the grasp, if the horse feels the confidence and the courage of the rider, the horse now becomes subservient to the rider. So you can just turn it like this and it turns. You can dash it forward and you can hold it and it will stop instantaneously. Why? Because it now has confidence. Now we are like that with our souls. You know, I love polo. So I'm giving you an example with that I know how to do. So this is how, this is typically how a horse behaves. I'm coming. So it's the same thing with the human soul. When you hold control over your soul, you control it. But if you allow your soul to control you, to have control over you, you are in for it. Look at it. Turidul muharramat. If your soul is the controller, you always find yourself committing sin. This is the formula. Whoever finds himself committing sins repeatedly, then a soul or her soul is in control. Whoever finds himself running away from Allah's disobedience and obeying Allah all the time is having control over his soul. And that doesn't come without patience. And that patience comes when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bis-sabr was-salah. We are going to round up now, even though we have not reached 1 hour. وَهَذَا يَحْتَاجُ إِلَى صَبْرٍ. So please, if the human soul is like that, it requires what? يَحْتَاجُ is in need of what? Sabr, patience. Now we go back to the... No. أو تميل إليها وتنزع إليها فلا بد أن يربطها. There is it is now incumbent أن يربطها, to strengthen. It's the same thing. تنزع, it inclines towards it. فلا بد, if this is the situation of the human soul, then it is now becomes incumbent. Ya zama wajibi yanzu nan dole. Fala budda ayyarbitaha, shine ka karfafa shi, to strengthen it. Ayyarbitaha wa yahbisa anil muharramat, against committing sins. You have to strengthen it not to fall into committing sins. Anil muharramat. Wa hadha yahtaju ila sabrin, and this is in need of what? Patience. Wa laysa min as-sahli. وَلَيْسَ مِنَ السَّهَلِ مَنَعَ النَّفْسِ عَنِ الشَّهَوَاتِ. It is not an easy thing. It is not part of the easy things. مِنَ السَّهَلِ مَنَعَ النَّفْسِ, preventing the soul عَنِ الشَّهَوَاتِ, from desires. So what you have been told from the Sharia point of view, that it is not amongst the easiest things to do. It is the most difficult thing to do, to prevent yourself from committing sins. Why then do you put yourself in a situation where committing sins will become easy for you? When you alone in your room, you are struggling to prevent yourself from committing sin using your handset, what more of you taking yourself to that haram place, or being with that haram person, or being in that haram environment? How difficult will it be for you then? Wallahi shesa, dik imaninka, as long as you find yourself constantly in a haram place, it reduces the strength of your iman. Desensitization. Because when the first time someone offers you a bribe, you remember the hadith that forbids it, and you say, Astaghfirullah, go away, I'm not going to collect this bribe. But if you constantly are exposed to a situation of bribe, wallahi, bribe will become normalized. I used to give this example because I went to all-male school. So when I went to ABU, I was not used to seeing women on the street not dressed properly. So you only see women in the masjid or going to Islamia. But in school, after primary school, secondary school, throughout my secondary school, there was no any woman in my school as a student, but teachers. So I was not used to seeing that. So when we went to ABU the first year, you are seeing women with miniskirt. You are seeing women without head cover. Wallahi, you feel as if you are going to die. First semester, it was very difficult. Second semester, how many of those women have you dodged and you have seen in your classroom? Second semester, first year done. Second year, you have been desensitized. That is normal now. You are no longer saying that and saying, A'udhu Billah. Wallahi, your mind is no longer trembling. It is normal. What trembles your mind now is when you see a woman that is more half naked than the other one you have seen before. Then that one you start saying A'udhu Billah. Then that one becomes normal until you see a woman that is almost naked. Then you say, then that one becomes normalized until a woman comes out not dressing, or until you see a picture of a woman that is not dressing, you say A'udhu Billah. Then you keep seeing nudity until it becomes normal. This is how it happens, the web of Satan. So wallahi, as long as you find yourself constantly in a haram situation, wallahi, you become desensitized, and that haram becomes normal, and what you are normally afraid of becomes normal, and that is the human soul. So please, I'm begging us all, let us avoid haram situations. Let us avoid haram situations. Wallahi, no matter how strong your iman is, as long as every day you expose yourself to haram circumstances, wallahi, desensitizes you, and you'll be asking yourself, is this me? Before, if I see this thing, I feel somehow, but today it is normal to me. I don't even see it. But what is there? Look at what is happening in the Muslim world today. A lady last week was saying, you are talking about women not putting proper hijab. He said in Abuja, matan aure nawa ne ba suke yawo babu dan kwali. It is normal for you to see a married woman without headscarf. A lady was telling me this. He said, what are you talking about when it is normal to see all these things? And now all those things have been normalized. And you see the husband doesn't see anything wrong in that. Like someone told me yesterday, say, and zaka gan wawan ya rike jaka, matan shi ta sa matsatsan kaya, ba gashin ta a waje, but it's normal because Erin is showcasing her. They are in the 21st century. They are not happy inward. Wallahi, nobody that is sinning is happy. If I sin against Allah, I know I'm not happy. Because Allah said, whoever sin against Allah he will have a constrained and narrowed lifestyle. So that is what is happening. You are dressing for people, not for yourself. You know you are not comfortable in that dressing. You know you are attracting the wrath of Allah, but you are dressing for the society, not for yourself. You are dressing because you want to prove to the society that I'm not oppressed. You are dressing because you want to show that I'm liberated, I'm exposed. Wallahi, that exposure can lead to exposure to hellfire. Wallahi al-azim. So we have to be very careful in all of these things that we do and take for granted. Why am I saying this? It is enough for us to know that our soul is very weak when it comes to sins. Please, why should we then expose ourselves to a sinful circumstance when we already know that our soul is weak? The battery is very weak when it comes to sins. Wallahi, very, very weak. We have little control over ourselves when we expose ourselves to sinful situations. Wallahi al-azim. And gradually we accept the sin and it becomes normal. May Allah safeguard all of us. So inshallah we're going to stop here. If Allah spares our lives to next week, inshallah we'll discuss Al-Thalith, As-Sabru ala Aqdarillahi al-Mu'liman. Because this requires detailed explanation, because we are going to talk about patience over Qadar. A lot of things happen in our lives. We complain, isn't it? Are we supposed to complain, or are we supposed to be patient over the things that happen to us in our lives? So inshallah, due to time constraint, we're going to discuss that next week. We pray, please, brothers and sisters in Islam, and those that are watching us live, and those that will even watch us afterwards, please, let us be kind to ourselves first. Let us be kind to ourselves first by avoiding that which Allah has asked us not to go close to. Wallahi, let us be kind to ourselves by putting extra effort to avoid Allah's disobedience and to worship Allah. You know the beauty about doing good deeds? When you do one good deed, it opens up doors for you to do another good deed. The same thing with an evil deed. When you do one evil deed, it leads you to another evil. It leads to another evil until you go to a big evil that you never imagined you will commit in your life. But when it comes to good deeds, you perform ablution today before you sleep, inshallah, day in, day out, that ablution will turn to 2 raka'atain before you sleep. Day in, day out, that 2 raka'atain will turn to, after 2 raka'atain, I will read a page from Quran before I sleep. Wallahi, when you start something good, it only takes you to more good, provided we have sincerity of intention. So please, I'm begging you, I'm pleading with you. Wallahi, it pains me. It pains me a lot. Wallahi, when we find ourselves in this environment that we find ourselves in today, it's very difficult for us. We are not living as Muslims alone. We are living with non-Muslims. And when it comes to moral issues, they have normalized a lot of amoral things. Like a woman not putting on a headscarf, like a woman putting on tight clothing, like a woman putting on jeans and going out without covering the jeans. Now, it's not wearing the jeans that is haram. Put on your jeans and you have, you know, a thick abaya that is on top of it. Put on whatever tight you want to put on, but cover it with your hijab. Alaysa kadhalik. But now we are mixed with all these people. No matter how God-fearing you are, wallahi, when you go out, you must see haram. You must hear haram. There is no way, because of the environment you find. Look at Abdul Karim here. When he went to Tofa, was it Tofa, Kura? When he went to Kura, that memorization village. Wallahi, when we spoke on the phone, Abdul Karim is seated in front of me here. He said, Malam, an cuce mu muna Abuja. An cuce mu muna Abuja. He was in an environment where you will not see a lady that is uncovered. Everyone is busy memorizing Quran. How can you not be able to memorize Quran? You are memorizing Quran here, you pick up your handset. You are in a group, someone is posting nudity. In an Islamic group. In an Islamic group. An elderly person you see posting nudity, complete nudity.
And you know, some of these elderly people don't even know how to delete something immediately. He doesn't even know how to delete, and it's there. Wallah, it's there. Do you know what happened? Da girmanka duk wazin da ake posting a nan bai maka amfani ba. Wallahi, you couldn't delete it again because it was there for like 3 hours. Bai ma sani ba. Who knows where you were sending it to? Of a woman. Islamic group that we sent da'wah to. The best thing for that man was to leave the group immediately. To anybody say, haka ya fita da group din, but those that know him know him. So now imagine the duk wa'azinka da komai. If you have not put up a setting on your answer not to download automatically, that is how the chief imam of your masjid will just open his phone, or someone will pick his phone. You know, in groups, if you don't check the setting, automatically the images and the videos and the audios download automatically. That is how his wife will pick up the phone and see a complete naked woman on his phone. And is the chief imam, what explanation will he offer? Fi sabilillah. And someone will say, Gashinan, and no fault of his. Wallahi, that is the danger of the environment. We are already exposed to dangers. How can we now expose ourselves more to dangers, please? Please, I'm just begging us. I'm not saying you, us. We are already, if you're on social media, wallahi, umba aikin Allah za ka yi baka fita. Wallahi al'azim, umba aikin Allah za ka yi baka fita. Ku zage mu tun da safiya dare za mu yi aikin Allah a can Allah ya ba mu iko kuma muna ko kai karba. But if you don't have anything good to do on social media, wallahi, leave it. It leads to a lot of evils. So just do what you are there to do and leave it. Because no matter how strong your iman is, it leads to one, it leads to one, it leads until you find yourself, the iman has left your body. So please, Muslims, let us act as Muslims. Please, I'm begging us. Let us act as Muslims. The world has nothing to offer us other than for us to use it and worship Allah in it. Wallahi, whoever celebrates us today because they see you as exposed individual while you are committing sins, while you are disobeying the orders of Allah, is your greatest enemy. Because on Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah said, there will be a declaration of enmity between you and that person that was hailing you. Baba, that person will become your enemy. So know who loves you. Wallahi, he who calls you to the path of Allah is the highest lover you can have in this world. Anyone that does not remind you of Allah and does not calls you to the path of Allah, wallahi, and he calls you to other than that, sin, and only to discuss this dunya, is an enemy to you, because that time that you are wasting with that person will come back to haunt you on Yawm al-Qiyamah. So please, I hope this pleading of mine will not go unheeded. Please, let us be good Muslims. Imagine the population we have in this class. If each one of you here will be ambassador of Islam and will put to practice all of these things, including myself, imagine how beautiful our immediate environments will turn out to be. Do you understand? So we can be the change we want to see in others. May Allah give us the strength and the ability to do that which will earn us His pleasure. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the strength to avoid His disobedience. And may Allah be pleased with us all. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, shalla la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.